Hey guys, welcome back to Mindset Thursday. So, I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
All right, so, have you ever won anything?
Thankfully, yes, I have.
Very
Yeah.
good. That's surprising to me. But
No, it's shocking.
So, let's just say, have you ever stood on a podium?
Uh-huh.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
All right, so you stood on that podium and you get your medal or trophy or whatever it is. How do you feel?
You feel really, really great in that exact moment.
In that moment?
And then about 25 to 35, maybe, I don't know why 35, 25 to 30 minutes later, you still feel really good and you're proud of yourself, but the really great feeling has somewhat worn off from the immediacy of the win.
How often does this happen to you? Like, especially, let's just say this, for example, maybe you've never stood on a podium, but you work really hard at your job and you get a raise at your job.
Mm-hmm.
How long does that last? That excitement of, like, you celebrate your raise. You may go out with your guys or girlfriends on the weekend and you're like, let's celebrate my raise. Let's go out for dinner.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden that's over, that promotion is over, and now you're like,
Just the new normal.
yeah. So what this comes down to is, how well have you enjoyed the process along getting to the point of where you are? So take a couple steps back. Do you ever look back at that? So maybe you journal along the way of this. So like you look back at your training and you look back at the history and you're like, look at everything I had to give up maybe to get to this point. But how often is it that we don't enjoy the process to get to where it is?
Yeah. I think the people who have the best results are the ones who really enjoy the day-to-day grind.
Yeah.
Find like a sense of, look, let's be honest. Practicing for your sport, for example, not always the most fun part of doing it.
No.
If you're in your job, I'm sure whether it's like creating reports, looking through spreadsheets, if you're in sales, cold calling, prospecting, building lists, things like that, are not exactly the most fun parts of that role.
Yeah.
Right? Let's think about it from a fitness standpoint. You just want the end transformation picture, right? It's like that's what you're shooting for.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if you can't find some sense of enjoyment in like the daily grind and commitment and discipline that is needed to get there, you're not gonna get there. That's kind of the catch-22 of life, right? If you can't find a way to enjoy the hard steps along the way, you'll stop doing them. Right? And so you really got to think about. There's a couple things. One, like make sure you of course have a really good why. We've talked about that forever on this particular video, but looking back sometimes, like Jason was just saying, seeing like, wow, look how far I've come from, or wow, look at that new like milestone I just hit. This is why it's so big to make process goals as well. Yeah. Not just the end, but like let's say your end goal is like I want to lose 20 pounds, I want to lose 5% body fat, I want to gain 3 pounds of skeletal muscle or whatever. I'm just throwing out some numbers here. Well, if you can make some process goals, like that means that I'm going to hit my macros for 5 days in a row, or I know that means on every Monday I'm going to bring a prepped lunch to work. Like, and you make these kind of steps in the way that allow you to be like, oh, I'm doing it, and I'm doing it, and I'm doing it. And the thing is, you get a dopamine response from like having success. You have mini success along the way.
Right.
And if you can create a process that works for you in your goal, you'll inevitably get the end result.
Right.
Like,
and there's so many things with that. That's such a great example because. And not only like these process goals, but like taking pictures and looking back at the beginning picture, going, "Oh my gosh, look what's happening in my body," or just getting on a scale and recording down your weight, and you're like, "Oh my gosh, I'm finally seeing some of this weight shedding off my body, and the scale's going the right way."
And look at the pictures; they're going the right way, and it starts to really reinforce.
All these things everything starts to collaborate together. So, and you start realizing like, okay, not only have I don't know what that was, okay, but, yeah. But not only have you gotten different process goals or now pictures or whatnot, but you've also formed like new habits. You are now disciplined. So maybe it's you're going to bed at a certain hour because guess what? Sleep plays a huge part in your nutrition.
Yeah, it does.
But so different things. You'll start looking back at this whole process of where you are at that point. Let's just say you are at 10 weeks in, and you're like, oh my gosh, look at all this. Look at where I am right now. But look at how far you've come. You've got to look back and go, did I enjoy the process? Maybe not the beginning. Or maybe at the beginning for the first 2 weeks you did, and you like hit a wall and you're like, what am I doing? But keep in mind, it takes time for things to happen. So that entire process, you have to look back and see where you've come from. So it's that whole peak and valley thing. So, and not everything is a nice steady uphill climb.
Success is so rarely this way. It's more like success and then you bomb out and then you go backwards and you come back down and eventually you get to the end point. Enjoy the roller coaster along the way.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, that completes our Mindset Thursday. So it's all about mindset. So for this. But have an awesome weekend, and we will see you next week. Have a great weekend. Take care. Bye bye.